Meta's executive team operates as a tightly guarded fortress. For years, the senior leadership group has been an exclusive circle dominated almost entirely by long-serving company veterans who climbed the internal ladder. On June 22, 2026, that closed loop cracked open. Meta appointed an outsider who had never worked a day at the company to run its most important global product, Indian startup founder Kunal Shah. To secure him, Meta didn't just offer a standard executive compensation package. They bundled his appointment with a $900 million minority investment into his existing fintech company, Cred, valuing it at roughly $4.5 billion. Mark Zuckerberg paid a massive premium for a highly specific perspective. He brought in an outsider to solve a structural problem that his internal veterans could not figure out. WhatsApp is the essential digital infrastructure for over 535 million users in India. People rely on it daily for everything from family updates to local business orders. Yet despite owning a third of humanity's attention, Meta has struggled for years to convert that ubiquity into transaction revenue. This chart shows India's UPI market share. PhonePe dominates at 46%, followed by Google Pay at 33% and Paytm at 8%. But look down here. Despite being on almost every smartphone, WhatsApp Pay holds a minuscule 0.65%. Meta possesses the scale, but they lack the behavioral intuition to make Indian consumers use the platform for commerce. They hired Kunal Shah to bridge that gap. The recruitment process actually started with a cold email. Meta's chief product officer, Chris Cox, reached out to Shah in the spring of 2026, seeking advice on who should lead WhatsApp next. Shah's answers were so sharp that the conversation evolved into a full-time operating role. Shah's path to California bypasses the traditional Silicon Valley pipeline. When his family's business faced bankruptcy during his teens in Mumbai, he took on odd jobs, including working as a delivery boy, to help support the household. When it came time for college, he chose to study philosophy. He did this partly for a practical reason. The classes ran from 8 to 10 a.m., leaving the rest of his day free to earn a living. Those early financial struggles, combined with a background in philosophy, trained him to become an acute observer of human behavior. He spent years analyzing trust systems and the precise incentives required to change consumer habits. Meta generally relies on sterile datasets and executive research trips to understand emerging markets. Shah brings a native fluency in the psychology of the Indian consumer that cannot be learned in a boardroom. He proved these behavioral theories could generate wealth with his first major venture, FreeCharge, founded in 2010. He took the boring chore of topping up a prepaid mobile phone and added rewards to make it a gamified experience. That insight drove tens of millions of users and led to one of India's largest startup acquisitions. This diagram illustrates his core framework, Delta 4. He argues that for a new product to permanently replace an established habit, it must be at least 4 points more efficient on a 10-point scale than what it replaces. When a product hits that 4-point delta, adoption becomes irreversible. Users will tolerate minor glitches and spread the product by word of mouth, the same mechanism that scaled apps like Uber and Truecaller. He applied this framing to build Cred in 2018. He created an exclusive, members-only platform designed to identify and reward financially disciplined Indians for paying their credit card bills on time. Beyond the branding, he mastered the regulatory mechanics, successfully assembling a complete stack of payment aggregator licenses from the Reserve Bank of India. Meta has effectively hired a behavioral economist who specializes in monetizing trust in a trust-deficit society. Now, Shah is relocating to California with a mandate to extract revenue from a platform used by 3 billion people worldwide. It is a sharp pivot. He is moving from building premium software for India's top tier to managing the world's most pervasive mass-market utility. To succeed, he must activate several growth factors simultaneously: cross-border payments, in-app shopping catalogs, and AI-powered business messaging. Cautionary, but severe execution risks stand in his way. He faces looming market share caps from Indian regulators and a complex new data protection regime that restricts how financial information is handled. Internally, he has to navigate a delicate balance. He must introduce commercial features into an app where people share personal moments without eroding the privacy that users expect. The stakes are binary. If he cannot convert WhatsApp's scale into commerce, this $900 million gamble follows a long history of global tech giants failing to master the Indian digital economy. If Shah succeeds, he will solve a problem that has eluded Meta for a decade. He will prove that the primary challenge of a global platform isn't technical infrastructure, but the human psychology of trust.